Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, it's unsolicited advice. Take it or leave it. Hello, people. Back again. But this time I want to talk about how we socialize, especially in 2025 going into 2026. Socializing is not what it used to be. You know, we renege more, we call out more, we counsel more. We just don't interact as much as we used to. We don't hang around each other as much as we used to. Socializing is different. I mean, look what I'm doing right now. This is how I kind of socialize with people. I just put my content up and, I talk about things and I enjoy it. And, there's times where I do this instead of going out. A lot of times because it's safe, it keeps me out of trouble or it keeps me from trouble or whatever. And I don't know, this is fun to do now. But it used to be we would sit together in a group and talk about these things. Times have changed. Times have changed very, very much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give y'all ways that you can socialize now, or how it's changed and how you can still do it, and still feel like it's normal. And one of the ways you can do it is one-on-one, or, like in a small group. You can choose like a little intimate settings, over large crowds, like people do kickbacks in their house, or you can find like a coffee shop or, whatever. Just a little small space where it's just you and a couple of people, just a place where you can chat, and it feels less draining. Everything is aesthetic, everything calm, nice little vibe. That's what it's about. Engaging in shared activities, things that y'all, both like. Do something together, like art classes, if you still read books, book clubs, cooking, some people do the, like little video games and stuff, for guys, of course we do sports, we can get together and watch sports and eat and we good. But, just shared activities, things that you like, find somebody, like-minded people. It's all over the social, it's all over social media. You can find people that like things that you like, no matter how weird, no matter how different it is than what everybody else does. You can find people that like what you like. I went to a collectible shop one time to buy some things that I needed. And I walked into a back room and it was just a bunch of tables with people playing board games, and Dungeons and Dragons and card-based games. But they was having a great time. It stunk in there, but they was having a great time. They was having a great time, and that let me know it's like it's something for everybody. You never have to feel like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know how people, fuck it, fuck them. If they don't like what you like, fuck them. Somebody like it, shit. Online communities, like what I'm doing right now. You can find different social media groups, gaming platforms. There's a bunch of those, like on Twitch, on Twitch, where you can control your level of engagement. Where you're just like, I like this. All right, it's been about an hour. I'm good. For your introverts, perfect. Online communities is perfect for introverts. If you're introverted, perfect. If you don't want to be around a bunch of folks and you want to leave when you want to leave, get you something to drink, nice little snack. You can watch what you want to watch, engage how you want to engage, and log off when you want to log off. Perfect. Perfect. One thing that I'm learning to do is something as good as setting time limits. Don't get caught up in something. Give yourself permission to leave early or take breaks, because you got to recharge. Got to recharge. But make sure you do it without guilt. Don't feel bad about doing it. Do it. Also, for your introverts, another way to socialize is if you're going to attend an event with a role to do. Whether you're volunteering, you're DJing, you help organizing, maybe you taking the money at the door. You can, it's a way to socialize without, feeling like everybody's up on you or, just your anxiety kicking in. It's like, I got to roll, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm back here cooking or whatever. It's a perfect way to socialize. You know, sometimes we forget that, but that's a good way to socialize. Prepare your conversation starters. You know, having a few go-to questions or topics that can help reduce your anxiety. You know, especially in a new situation. You know, especially, people, you always got those one friends that want to invite you to places where you don't know the people. You know, it's good to already have conversation starters. Now, for guys, usually, we go straight to sports. Oh, did you watch the game the other day? And then boom, we done made a new friend. Usually that's what that's. But for women, it's a little different. Maybe you want to compliment somebody on their outfit, or, maybe y'all have like-minded things, and like-minded things that in common. You might want to talk about things like that. This is something that we all got to work on, but is very true. We got to practice active listening. Focus on listening rather than talking. So because people appreciate good listeners, and it takes pressure off of you. You just sitting there listening. You chilling. You're socializing, but you letting that person talk. You don't want to talk. They love to talk. Perfect. Make sure you always choosing comfortable venues. Pick quiet cafes. Parks. Calm settings instead of loud, crowded places. Like me personally, I like dog parks. I love dogs, so I like going to the dog park. I'll go grab something to eat, take it to the park, enjoy it. Drink my drink or whatever, and I just sit there and watch the dogs play. I love going to cafes and coffee shops, anywhere where it's quiet, mom and pop places where I can get me a nice little meal, and it's calm and it's not loud. Love it. Schedule regular social time. Don't always just be stuck at home. Try to schedule something at least once a week where you say, you know what, I need to get out the house. I know some of y'all, your social battery goes down quick. So just find something quick and simple. Anything. You could just be going to go buy something. Bam, completed your mission. You completed your side mission. Because I know things can be overwhelming. Definitely can be overwhelming. Last but not least, be honest about your needs. A lot of times we want to hide it, and we don't want to be a burden. But be honest with people about your needs. Let your friends know you value, your quality time. And sometimes you need space to recharge and to get back to life. Let them know who you are. That's the whole thing about being a friend. If they're your friend, they understand. Say, okay, I know such and such. That way they know if y'all out and about and they look at the time and say, hey, I know you don't like being out too long. You ready to go? Are you still feeling this? You want to go? I know you don't like being around a bunch of folks. Because they know you now. Because you've already talked to them. You let them know, hey, I ain't really big on this, and this. So there's nothing wrong with it. But that's how you socialize now. You have to understand people just aren't what they used to be. It used to be a time where you socialized. It used to be a time where you would get together, block parties or whatever. You got to be careful with everything now. It's dangerous out here. I just talked about accusations. You can get accused of stuff real quick. COVID, it made us very skeptical about being around people and catching diseases and getting sick and stuff. So, yeah. But you definitely should take time to socialize. There's nothing wrong with it. Just unsolicited advice. You can take it or leave it.